there, Mirka. My name is Trista, and I'm your queen. We're going to read Melissa to the clerk of the courts right around election time. By the way, I have filed to run for president as independent candidate 2028. That is, if we have elections. Actually, this is quite nice. Look, it's got a couple of stickies. It says, Dear Kevin, please, Honorable Kevin F. McCumber, the clerk of the U.S. House of Representatives, said, please enter this petition, which is also now on change.org, into the public record. Thanks, Trista. This is my petition to Congress as presidential candidate 2028. If we have elections, please make sure everybody sees it. You open it up, and it's a copy of my picture about Uncle Sam going to hell. And look, there is Bernie Sanders dressed as Uncle Sam, and there's the kidnapped Statue of Liberty and the poor huddled masses. Contact me if you would like a print of that. Congress must act now to impeach Trump and 200 insurrectionists. Congress enforce the law and U.S. Constitution. Okay? Y'all took an oath to protect and defend the U.S. Constitution, so why didn't you object on January 6th to an adjudicated insurrection taking office? So, therefore, y'all have violated your own oaths of office, so maybe we should just impeach the entire Congress and have snap elections. Give me a shout, give me a like and a follow and a share if you think that's a good idea. Right, so let's get started. 4 years ago, Donald Trump incited a deadly insurrection against the United States, and the justice system has failed to hold him and his enablers accountable. Trump has openly vowed to terminate the Constitution and become a dictator day one if re-elected. Congress and the White House must act immediately to defend our democracy. The 14th Amendment, Section 3, clearly states that no individual who has engaged in insurrection may hold public office. Yet nearly 200 members of Congress who supported or enabled the January 6th insurrection remain in office, undermining democracy and the rule of law. This dereliction of duty must end. We demand that Congress, 1. Enforce Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, disqualify all insurrectionist candidates and elected officials from holding office. 2. Impeach and censure all January 6 co-conspirators. File articles of impeachment and resolutions to remove and disqualify the 200 GOP members of Congress complicit in the attack on our democracy. 3. Ensure accountability for Donald Trump. Urge courts to revoke bail, prosecute violations, and seek a mental health competency hearing in light of repeated threats to judges, witnesses, and the public. 4. Enforce election integrity. Introduce legislation to prevent insurrectionists from appearing on ballots and ensure consequences for election interference. 5. Act without fear or favor, end preferential treatment, and enforce laws equitably. Why is it important? The January 6th insurrection was a direct attack on the heart of our democracy. It was not merely a protest, it was domestic terrorism. The perpetrators erected gallows, threatened election officials, and attempted to overthrow a lawful election. Allowing those involved to remain in office sends a dangerous message. Crimes against democracy will go unpunished. Congress failed to act decisively after January 6th. Speaker Pelosi permitted insurrectionists to be sworn into office mere days after the attack. Republicans blocked accountability, and Democrats failed to put hard enough for justice. This catastrophic inaction must not be repeated. Diaper Dumpster Fire and his co-conspirators have consistently shown contempt for the rule of law. His open calls to terminate the Constitution and his abuses of power threaten to destroy the democratic foundations of our country. Take action now. We, the undersigned, demand accountability for all who undermine democracy. 1. Call Congress, dial 202-224-3121 and demand your representatives sponsor and support resolutions to disqualify and remove insurrectionists from office. 2. Enforce the Constitution. Urge Congress to pass a bill to enforce the 14th Amendment barring insurrectionists from holding office. Actually, that's unnecessary. It's self-enforcing. They need to hold two-thirds votes whether or not to remove the disqualification on Diaper Dumpster Fire. Everybody go check out and listen to Jessica Denson Lights On. 3. Prosecute domestic terrorism. Demand that courts and prosecutors act with urgency to hold those involved in January 6th accountable. 4. Protect democracy. Insist that Congress, the White House, and the Department of Justice act. To safeguard our Constitution from continued attacks, we refuse to let our democracy fall. The fate of the United States depends on holding insurrectionists accountable. Signed, Trista Di Geno, Presidente Candidate 2020. That is if we have elections. Follow up for more if you want to see or if you want to hear my letter to Judge Juan Merchant.